Hey y'all, welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank, and today I'm joined by our very special guest, Scott. Scott, how you doing?
Special guest Scott, what up, nerds?
Scott, of course, is the moderator for our Discord, which must be a pretty easy gig, because honestly, we have a really good chill group in the Discord. Nobody's a jerk.
Yeah, I haven't had to no ban hammers, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need someone to invite a toxic friend or something.
Let's not practice that. Yeah, I did have to ban someone last month because they were trying to sell drawings to people through DMs through our Discord. And so luckily somebody brought that to my attention and was like, hey, by the way, this guy's trying to sell me drawings. So I banned him and all that fun stuff. What a weird reason to get banned for a Discord. I mean, like, you didn't even say anything bad.
It's bots probably half the time.
Yeah. Let's kick things off with our question of the week. If you could add one more category to the Oscars to make them more relevant, what would it be? The Oscars generally for like our generation, not super relevant. I mean, I watch them because I like Hollywood stuff, but I know that you don't watch them. What do you think they should be adding?
It's hard to say because I don't know what categories the Oscars has. If it was the Game Awards, maybe I'd be there. You could probably do something interesting with maybe like YouTube. You know, like YouTube has like some weird not feature films, but there's some like long form content of people doing like amateur filmmaking and even somewhat professional. Yeah, you know. And
that would bring in a younger audience too. I like that. Some sort of a website, online, webby bring in like that. For me, I would go with like a category that's like cultural impact, and it could be two tier, like cultural impact indie and then cultural impact blockbuster or something like that, where it's like, hey, this year we were all talking about Thunderbolts and how it changed Marvel's game plan going forward. Also, Sinners was like a Black first movie that was like, you know, an original script or something like that. Like two different versions of it. I would totally be on board with that. It just feels like there's a lot of movies that got left in the dust because of that, because they're never going to give anything to a DC or Marvel movie.
Well, yeah. I mean, movies are in a weird place right now. I don't think people are rushing out to the movies like they used to watch things when they first come out. We're waiting for them to come out on streaming. I mean, a lot of normal viewers like you and me, well, not so much you kind of view things for a living at this point, but, you know, for the rest of us, it's kind of like if it hasn't come out on, you know, streaming service XYZ yet, how many people have really seen it?
Yeah, I don't know. The Oscars just feel like they're kind of a lackluster event right now. It's fun to watch. I mean, I like it, but yeah, I think a lot of people don't care for it too much. Let's start off with Nathan Fillion. He's saying that Firefly, an animated series, is in development. Now, I love Firefly back in the day. You're a sci-fi guy. Is that something you were into?
Not when it was new.
Yeah. I didn't watch it new either, of course. Yeah.
Like, you know, that was a time period. I don't remember exactly when it came out, but I think it was around like 2004, right? When I hit high school, I wasn't watching a lot of TV anymore.
Yeah.
If I was watching it, it was something I had downloaded from completely legal places. Okay.
Oh, of course. We'll talk about legal places later on. We're talking about Amazon increasing their prices for Amazon Prime.
What's the statute of limitations on digital piracy? I don't know. And yeah, I think it's a really, really good show. It's got a obviously really good cast. It hits a lot of interesting bases and culturally relevant, just as like a human history, right, mixing religion and politics and all
they
these
had like
different themes.
The profanity was Chinese. Right. You also had kind of this mix of like, okay, so cultures must have like merged on Earth.
Right. Yeah. I always felt like I'd like to see more. You know, I want to see more of this universe and this cast. Hearing that it's going to be animated is a little disappointing, honestly.
Yeah, the cast is so much older now. I mean, and with the movie, they killed off Alan Tudyk, so this is going to be set between the movie and the show. I think you kind of had to put it there.
Either way, it was always going to be a compromise, right? You know, because yeah, if you go earlier, everybody's older. We don't want another Kingdom of the Crystal Skull thing, okay?
Yeah,
we don't need CGI'd young Nathan Fillion and everybody. They do well with it. I think we're the
heyday of animation, honestly. I think if you're watching Invincible and things like we really do have some really good adult animation storytelling right now. So maybe they'll have the right people for this. Maybe this is actually the right time to go with animation. But on that side, I'm trying to look at the positives, you know.
Right, yeah. No, I mean, there are positives.
Yeah.
There really are. And I want to see more. I'm looking forward to seeing more.
Yeah, how many years have geeks been beating that same drum, man? Like, bring back Firefly. It was going on for one. I mean, as culturally
One
impactful as it
season,
was,
yeah.
one season. It's wild that it's only one season, but it really built a really neat world that we all wanted to explore more. So, do you think that there was a big demand to bring this back? Is this the right time politically or with Hollywood status to bring back a nostalgic show like this?
Politically, these days, is anything a good choice? I don't know.
I know The Voice is going to be a very interesting watch right now. I can't wait to have to keep defending it amongst a bunch of bros.
Politically, and I say this as a person, you know, who follows politics a lot, I don't care. You know, if a new Firefly animated series, you know, because it is very much it's an anti-authoritarian kind of anti-establishment.
I mean, there's like literally like the what do they call, like the white gloves or whatever, the fascists are like the white gloves in this or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It's been a long time since I've watched it.
I'm realizing it's been too long for me since I've seen Firefly.
And someone somewhere will see parallels and be like, "Oh, you're being mean to me," and I mean, whatever, dude. You know.
Yeah. I know.
That's just.
I'm so tired of defending things that people grow up on. And they'd be like, well, why is this suddenly, you know, so PC culture or woke? And it's like, bro, it was woke a long time ago, and you agreed with it back then. It's just suddenly the team you were on switched, and unfortunately, there's teams now. You know,
Yeah.
I hate so much. Of all the properties, it drives me bananas. Why is Star Trek all woke now? I'm like, bitch, that is the wokest of the wokest shows. What are you talking about?
You know, not to get too far into it, I know we try not to get super political on this show.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we already are pretty far.
You know, I mean, wasn't Star Trek like the first interracial kiss on television ever?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, that was a very, very big deal. Uhura and Kirk was a very big deal back then. So,
and Sulu was a gay character. They confirmed it after the show aired, but I mean, you know, it was a gay character in the show, and it was canonized later on. Yeah, there's a lot of things, and it had a Russian engineer at a time during the Cold War. So, engineer?
No, he's a pilot.
The pilot, thank you. Yeah.
The helmsman, I believe.
The helmsman, there we go. Are we gonna get all fancy with it? Anyways, Firefly is back, and I'm pretty excited about it, and I look forward to reviewing the hell out of that when the time comes. Let's move on to some more Lord of the Rings. Kate Winslet's just been tagged for The Hunt of Gollum. This is Lord of the Rings, The Hunt of Gollum. Hunt for Gollum, I'm sorry. A lot of people don't even know this movie's in development right now. It's a new Lord of the Rings movie about Gollum, and it's going to have literally Frodo and Gandalf returning for this movie. What do you think about them making a new Lord of the Rings movie? Essentially whole cloth. There's not a lot of content to pull for this thing.
You know, they stretched The Hobbit into 3 movies.
Yeah, that was so dumb.
Personally, I do enjoy those movies. I think they're decent movies. It's a fun time. The last one does drag out and do weird things, right? There's definitely a stretching for content going on, but I think it was handled as well as it could have been. However, you took a book about this big and made it into a 3-hour marathon because you're trying to recapture what is, to many people, like the most perfect trilogy in cinematic history.
Yeah, and for a lot of us, myself included, it shouldn't be touched. Like, it's to the point, like, we're going to be talking about World of Warcraft later on, but I never want you guys to try to bring back Arthas and try to tell his story again. Like, he is there and he's perfect. Same thing with this. Like, we don't need you guys to do a new Frodo, which luckily we have the same actors coming back. But the original pitch for this is that Aragorn is going to be the one that's like leading this movie, and we don't have that casting for that. So we don't know if they're going to try to bring in a new one.
We'll see what happens. They did surprise me with The Hobbit. When I heard The Hobbit was going to be 3 movies, I was like, that's the dumbest shit ever. And I don't even know how you do that. I was pleasantly surprised, but sure, they're not the same quality, the same story level of storytelling that the Lord of the Rings trilogy is.
No,
and after Rings of Power doing what it was doing, that I don't know if anyone knows what ever happened with that show, if anyone actually managed to finish it. You know, it's kind of like, what are we stretching for here? How much can you really do with this? Yeah, like this very snippet of a story.
Yeah. They didn't even have the full rights to do much with it. For this one, it's all about hunting down Gollum before the events of Lord of the Rings. It's Gandalf sending Aragorn out to go hunt down Gollum, and so it's all about that process. And then eventually, of course, they end up in the tavern. He's Strider during all this. Doesn't seem like there's much there to create a story out of. With Kate Winslet joining in, I feel like she gives very queen elf energy. I could see her as some sort of queen at this age, especially. She's not like, young anymore. But also she's like a big name. So if you're going to pull her in, this might give some validity to the idea of this movie coming around. It's not just, let's bring back the old actors and just kind of film something, because Andy Serkis is directing this. Of course, he plays Gollum. So we have a lot of people coming back. You got to start throwing in some big names, or there's got to be some prestige behind this movie, because nobody's talking about it. And it's a new Lord of the Rings. Like, that should be something that I'm excited for. And I keep forgetting about it. That's crazy to me.
The period between, I believe, I'm going off some old memories here, but the period between Bilbo leaving and then Gandalf coming back to warn Frodo and get him out of the Shire and stuff, that's the period where he's searching for Gollum, which is actually a span of quite a few years. It's not a short amount of time like it is in the movies, obviously, for reasons, but that's what's going on. So Frodo's just like, I don't know, living it up at Bag End. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what he's gonna play. Are you gonna bring Orlando Bloom back to play Legolas and try to make him look like a somehow younger elf again? I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see if they can make anything good out of this. My whole thing is, like, I know that they can make quality. I just don't know if they could build a hype like I'm surprised that we're not already talking about this more, essentially, is what I'm talking about. Speaking of our favorite TV show that apparently we all finished, Rings of Power, Amazon Prime is going to be putting 4K video behind a new paywall on April 10th. So they're increasing the price for everybody, including, I think let me double check here. Yeah, so it's going to be $5.99 a month now for the ad-free option. Right now it's $2.99 a month, which I just did. And so the Prime you get with your account is no longer going to be in 4K. And to upgrade to the ad-free version, and it's going to be $5.99 a month. Are we getting to the point? Here's my thing. I think we're getting to the point now where I no longer am going to blame you for pirating. Like, I think it'd be silly to push anybody like, oh, pirating is wrong. I don't want to hear that from nobody anymore. We're in a LimeWire era again, my friend, and us millennials are going to thrive. Okay? So
the LimeWire area. Oh gosh,
we're back, baby.
We're getting the viruses back on our computers.
Let's do it. Everybody meet up at my house, bring blank DVDs and CDs, and we're gonna be making collections. That's what we're doing tonight.
Trojan D's nuts.
Who's got BitTorrent? Let's fire it up. Oh my god. So I mean, if they're gonna keep raising prices, I'm gonna start pirating more and more. Like, I'm sorry, that's just how it is, and I know I shouldn't be saying that. Yada yada yada. But you guys gotta be real.
Look, I've watched some One Piece, not just the live action, but the anime. I've played a lot of Cyberpunk. I'm a millennial just trying to survive. I'm very much into not giving corporations my money if I can help it. Over the past year and a half, I've canceled a lot of stuff, and Prime's one of them, because Prime kept going up, but I kept seeming to get less. Oh wait, you actually canceled
the Prime shipping as well?
Mm-hmm. The whole damn thing. Yeah. And you know what? I haven't missed it.
To me, that seems crazy, because I do use Prime shipping an awful lot.
Well, you live out in the country and stuff. I don't know. True. Especially when 2-day shipping went out the window a long time ago.
Yeah, it's not great shipping anymore. But okay, so let's say you were paying for Prime. And let's say, so I was doing the ad supported version just because I was kind of doing a stance. It was only $2.99 more a month. And so for Fallout, I was like, okay, I can't do Fallout and watch these ads. It's just taking me out of it too much. So I went ahead and upgraded it for that. I was like, well, I'll keep it because The Boys is coming up. And then after that, I'll cancel. And then we have Invincible too. So anyways, so I plan on canceling it. But let's say here it is. Everything that's coming with it is you're going to get, for the $4.99 a month, you're going to get ad-free. You're going to get 4K UHD. You're going to get Dolby Atmos. You can have 5 people streaming at one time and 100 downloads for offline viewing. With all that like new ultra package, does that entice you a little bit more? They're kind of like increasing the sound quality. It sounds like, there's a couple things there. What do you think?
I mean, I don't need 4K.
And it's really hard to tell the difference if we're being honest. You know what I'm saying?
If it is at 4K, can you really tell a difference? I'm sure someone out there is like, oh, I can totally tell a difference. I don't know. My eyes aren't that good.
As someone who is getting sent 4K Blu-rays all the time from our advertisers, I will tell you, if you're not watching it in Blu-ray, the 4K Blu-ray disc, you're not actually seeing it in 4K. When you put in one of those Blu-rays that are 4K, it's so much better than when you stream something in 4K. So I think the streaming 4K thing is pretty much bullshit anyways. So yeah, it's like kind of like when you go into like a Best Buy, for example. You go into a Best Buy or a Costco, whatever, you see their TV and you're like, I want that at my house, and it never looks like that at your house. It's because you're streaming that shit. When you actually put the disc in, it looks a lot better.
Right.
All right, we're going to be starting off our reviews with One Piece Season 2. I want to hear your initial impression after you watch that Season 2.
I can't wait for Season 3.
Damn Skippity on the same way, man.
Okay.
And I it's funny how like Season 1, I felt like complete story. We met the crew. We're getting them all together. It felt like a complete story in a really good way. And I thought like, this is a really good adaptation. And then I realized in Season 1, I was like, oh, Season 1. All right, when I was watching Season 2, I realized Season 1 was a good adaptation, but it wasn't a great adaptation of anime in general. But Season 2 felt like an adaptation of anime because it was like, this story is just continuous in both directions. I'm in a slice of it right now. Every episode kind of has these arcs and stuff like that. And like, you could tell like the story is just going in every direction and I'm just kind of in a slice. Did that feel like, even at the end of it, I was like, yeah, this is the end of a season, but it really just feels like the third season needs to be tomorrow. It just was really weird that way. Did you get that vibe?
Yeah, no, like I just wanted to keep going, you know? They are like constantly adding in, you know, we know there's Baroque works. We've heard about a Captain Blackbeard. Of course, I already know what happens with some of these things.
And let's set that standard, by the way. So you've watched the anime for the most part, much of it, but I haven't seen any of it.
So I looked it up, you know, I have watched, for those of you who have watched One Piece all the way through or most of the way through, for your sakes, I am at the end of the Dressrosa saga, which when I looked it up is roughly 64% of the entire anime. That's
like 700 episodes, right?
Yeah, I'm at like 740 or something out of like 1155. So,
and I think I put on the pilot, the first episode of the anime when the first season came out, and that's probably it. I haven't watched so I'm coming in very blind, and I will be asking you about adaptation quality.
I have questions actually though. Okay. Who's your favorite character?
Oh God, that's hard to say. I would say Zoro, right? I would say he's probably my favorite. Yeah.
Wow. Look, I'm a Zoro guy. Although the live action does some interesting things with characters that make me like certain characters more than I do in the anime. And I'm sure some like big anime purists will be like, no, you just don't understand them. No, I just don't like them. Okay.
I really like Sanji too. I think I would say Zoro and Sanji are my two favorites. Now, I don't know. It's hard to tell, but yeah, sorry, go ahead. Continue.
No, you're good. All right. Who's your least favorite? Do you have a least favorite?
Big version of, what's his name? The last two episodes, Tony Chopper. The big version of him creeped me out so goddamn much. I was like, he needs to never be big again. Keep him small.
Oh no, he's gonna get big some more. Don't worry.
No.
Yeah. The Chopper is, man. Is Chopper the new Baby Yoda? I know he's not, but I think Chopper is
when he was
cute,
like crying,
so adorable.
I just wanted to hug the hell out of him. I'm like, I'm gonna make a better baby. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna find a way to make you happy. I promise.
He even
but then he gets big, and I'm like, get a job.
All right, and one of the other things I wanted to come up with you, which is gonna kind of go into some things. You know, it's an anime, right?
Yeah.
Animes do crazy stuff. What do you think about Zoro's three sword style when he's got the sword in the mouth?
Right. So I will say, as somebody who understands that anime is like basically just, you know, it's the Wile E. Coyote of the world. Like that's the reality that they're in. They can walk on nothing if you just don't look down. I understand that. So that's why I understand that the sword's just like, it's like watching music theater. It's like nobody's gonna sit there and dance in the middle of a revolutionary France, but it's just how this is going. So I understand it. I take it for the reality that it's in. Yeah. That's like one of the best. But I could imagine somebody watching this who's not understanding that this is an anime adaptation and thinking that's just stupid. And so I bet there's probably a level of that for other people.
Yeah. I was curious, you know, because even sometimes, like, they do it really well. They have him work with one sword or two swords. And so I like when
Yeah.
shit gets real, then he puts the third one
Yeah.
in. He doesn't keep it in very long. It also has to be rough for the actor, you know?
Yeah. By the way, the second time he did it, he never used, like, it never hit anything. So I was like, it was not in your mouth for any reason. But, and there's times when things will happen, and I'll be like, that is so cringy, but I'm here for it. Just like that's what this is. One of them was when, it was Sanji and Chopper, I think. I don't know who was with him, but Sanji was spinning on his feet, and then they were gonna like push the guy into him. He got kicked,
like...
and I was just like, "That shit is so stupid, so cringy, so bad." It's just One Piece, though. Like I keep throwing my arms up, be like, "It's One Piece," you know, whatever. I know people might not be into that.
Sanji in the anime, he's like very cool, very, you know how he is, right? Like very suave, like, oh yeah, I'm the cook, you know. And I think he's usually got a cigarette in the anime. You know, he wears like a suit all the time. When he comes across a woman, it is the most anime thing ever. Like hearts for eyes, blood gushing out the nose. There's actually
Jesus,
a time when they show up on an island that it just has all kinds of, you know, beautiful women, and they have to treat him for severe blood loss from the nosebleeds. Okay, like he just becomes the most obnoxious character when he's around women. And it's like one of the reasons why I was like, I like Sanji, but Sanji can't be my favorite character. But in the anime, he is still distracted by women, but it's not in the live action, so cringe. Or in the live action, you know, he's still distracted. He's like, oh, a beautiful lady, you know, and he gets, you know, he gets tricked by the two that are going to kill him. The sleeper one for me is Usopp, because Usopp in the live action, he's scared, you know, he's
clearly
not...
clearly like a character feature of his. It's annoyingly so, because I'm like, didn't you just grow out of this? You know, like, why aren't you growing out of that yet?
That is his character in the anime, where he's constantly like super afraid and then like accidentally saves the day or whatever. But I don't know, I feel like his character growth and likability is just better in the live action.
Is it better? Okay, because I wasn't sure if it was better, because that's the thing. I'm just like, I am totally down to suspend my disbelief, but also like your character should probably evolve if it's good. I know that Luffy is a character who's never meant to evolve. Like no matter what happens, Luffy will always be going for the One Piece, and then everybody around him I figure will change, because we're seeing a lot of change come out of Nami. Like Nami is such a better character than she was like episode 1 of season 1. But I'm like, Usopp's basically the same character still. He's still kind of scared of things and calls himself captain still, you know, he's still telling tall tales. There's not a lot of change for him.
He's always going to call himself captain. You got to let that one go. Okay. He's Captain Usopp, a brave warrior of the sea.
What about like the sets? Do the sets feel like they're pretty faithful to the anime? Because I feel like they're doing things like you would go into a Disneyland and see like, you know, a world that was recreated from a cartoon, and you're like, oh, hey, the wood's exaggerated and stuff like that. I feel like there's a lot of that going on with this, where it's like they're exaggerating even the set to make more sense for an anime adaptation.
They have definitely captured that like cartoonish vibe, like the little pirate shanty towns and stuff, you know, that they come across. Not pirate, but little island towns, you know. It's as faithful as you can get, honestly. I've been very impressed by it, and I've really enjoyed it.
Talking about the characters, I feel like one of the things that this show, if I wasn't putting this in the mindset of anime I would complain about, one of the problems is that it didn't stick with any one character for too long. So we were introduced to some new Marines. We didn't get much of them. They kind of jumped in and out because they have like a story that we're not watching going on. A couple of our favorite Marines. Let's see, what do we got here? Gosh dang, what's his name? I cannot remember his name, but it's
Captain
his friend
Smoker?
Kobe.
Kobe, okay.
and Helma Bippo. Cool, God, that's a hell of a name. The one with the goofy hair.
Right.
We didn't see them much, but they were so pivotal in the first season. So I'm waiting for those characters to be developed. And so it's like, I can't stand that we only have 8 episodes in this. We need batches of 30 at a time. And now the 1,400 episodes of One Piece kind of makes sense to me.
Well, yeah, and I think that's the thing, right? When you're looking at animating things, right? Mm-hmm. You can just kind of like disappear a character for a few seasons and then bring them back. You know, that's not hard to do, because Kobe doesn't come back in the anime for a while. Like even
Okay.
getting these scenes with him is I think a bit much as far as,
wow.
you know, the anime was concerned.
Even Garb coming back, I was kind of like, Garb's not. You can tell Garb wasn't needed in the scene, but clearly they wanted to remind people that Garb
Yeah,
exists.
because in the anime at this point, we haven't even seen Garp. At least as far as I remember, we haven't even seen him except in maybe flashbacks.
I see.
Like
okay.
him, and he's not a pivotal character in the story arc for really a few more arcs.
Oh wow, yeah. Just as the guy that was there when Goldie Roger died, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and he's Luffy's grandpa.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, like, the only time you would have seen him was like probably in the very first episode as the guy who's sitting there executing Goldie Roger.
Right, and I think maybe some flashbacks with like Luffy as a kid and stuff.
Right. Which that's another thing too. I mean, like, we just got a hint to Dragon, who is obviously a far more important character coming up. Like, there was so many just like hints to things that like I more so than probably any other show I've watched in a year was Googling on the side. What does this person look like in the anime? Hold on, who's the dude with the hood? Who's Luffy's dad? I was doing that. Goldie Roger's son. Well, I had to know who these Crocodile. Why? Okay, obviously that's a big character because the actor's cool. Who's Crocodile? And then I'm like, Crocodile. There's some fan theories out there that Crocodile might be Luffy's mom. I'm like, what the shit? What? And yeah, I know. Because apparently, like, Crocodile could change gender or had changed gender due to a different fruit called the Herma fruit. I don't remember. Anyways. I was starting to dive. I was diving into some theories on Reddit and stuff like that.
Up in a weird corner of Reddit, maybe.
There were some pictures that got me questioning stuff. People were making some weird drawings, guys.
So even up to the point I've watched in the anime, Luffy's dad is really not, like, we hear about him, we've learned a little bit about him, but he's not really a character interacting with the present storyline. It's like, oh yeah, he's doing things over here, kind of like in like Game of Thrones when, you know, you're in Westeros hearing about things Daenerys did, you know, but like Daenerys hasn't even entered the show is kind of how it would be.
The character I think obviously everything hinges on is Luffy himself. How do you feel Anaka Godoy playing Monkey D. Luffy is doing?
I think they picked like the perfect person for it, really. Like he can portray that like childlike innocence that Luffy has, like just being enamored with the littlest thing, or like, you should just be my friend, or I just trust you, you know, like, yeah, I think that my gut says I can trust you. Like, those are very Luffy things to do, where everyone else, you know, is like worried about, well, what if this happens? What if this happens? He's like, you know, it'll be fine.
There's so many things about Luffy where, like, the cynical mind that we all have, that I have as a viewer, he challenges the cynical mind and the cynical perceptions immediately. Where sometimes you're like, oh, like, this isn't necessarily him, but like, just the cure was cherry blossoms coming down. I immediately was like, oh, okay, it'll push back the clouds. Finally, they'll get some sun that can grow fruit. Like, I'm thinking, like, literally what could fix this island. And like, no, it's just cherry blossoms. It'll give everybody spirit. I'm like, I'm not even thinking. I'm like, that doesn't work. Like, it took a second to kind of like calm myself down a little bit mentally to be like, oh yeah, the idea is just to make people happier for a second. That's fine. And then, yeah, so it kind of goes with Luffy, where you just have to like, oh, he's just wanting to be people's friends, and that's just what it is. It's not an alternative motive.
And he's living in the moment. I mean, he's going to find the One Piece and become king of the pirates. That's it. That's the goal.
Gosh, I'm trying to find it. Oh, there it is. King Wopal. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, that guy.
Wopal. When he shoots at the Jolly Roger and Luffy jumps in front of it, I was just like, there's something about this character, and it's so funny because it's literally said in the show. Like, when you see it, you'll see it. Yeah, Nami says that to Miss Wednesday. When you see it, you'll see it, and suddenly you're like, I get Luffy now. When he did that to protect the Jolly Roger, just because he knew what it meant, I was like, that's this kid gets you somehow. It's like suddenly you're like, yeah, I'll follow fucking this weird kid to the end of the globe. I can totally get it now. And there's so many times where that happens as you're watching the show, where you're like, yeah, I have to like suspend my disbelief. You have to kind of shut your brain down a little bit and just enjoy the beautiful colors and the fun characters. But when you do that, you are on an adventure that reminds me of like the old fairy tales, where it's just like you have to just believe in magic a little bit, and suddenly, yeah, this whale understands this kid who's singing a song, and like it's just fun. And I think that's why my score is really high on this. When if I had a more critical mind or a critical outlook on this, I might be, down. But yeah, I thought it was fun.
It's just pure escapism, you know.
How many Jolly Rogers are you giving this out of 10?
I have one actually on my window, but I'm thoroughly impressed. I'm looking forward to more, so I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. I'm here for it.
Wow. I'm giving it a 9 because there were plenty of times where I was like, well, I wish I had done this, but it was outshined so much by just how much fun I was having, and where it was like, sure, I don't even care that doesn't make sense. I'm just having a blast watching this show. And so that's good up to 9. And it's one of those things where it's, again, like if I were to break it down, it would go down.
Yeah,
I don't want to break it down.
That's cool. Yeah, like you don't even have to justify it. I'm with.
I feel like I have to, man.
you know me, okay? I am cynical. I'm very cynical about a lot of things.
Yeah. Yes, you are. I'm surprised you're not more cynical about this now that I'm thinking about it.
You know what?
Let's see if that stays calm in the World of Warcraft chit chat.
When they said they were making a live action One Piece, I was like, there's no way this works. Okay. Yeah. The challenges that they face to even do this successfully is just like, yeah, you know what? 10 out of 10, guys, no notes. Just keep doing what you're doing.
One show, infinite adventures. Join the crew of the USS Enterprise as they discover new civilizations, test their resolve, and dive into thrilling adventures. Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3 is now available to buy on 4K Steelbook, DVD, Blu-ray, and digital. Let's shift gears. We're going over to World of Warcraft Midnight. So, jumping into this expansion, I purposely try to alienate myself as much as I could. I wanted to keep up on the story stuff. I wanted to know major features, but I did not invest so heavily into it like I did with War Within and every other expansion before this. So going into this, I was more blind than usual. And what I have to say is, the questing-wise, I think the main storyline was quite good. There were definitely some high points and low points. I would say the Heronir or something I couldn't care less about, but yet the troll storyline I thought was fantastic, and I'm fully invested in them. That's now my favorite place. But I do like that kind of ebb and flow with my love for this expansion. I would say past expansions, there have been times where the entire expansion was high, but there's been times where the entire expansion sucked. So we're in a pretty good back and forth with this one. I feel like a lot of the features that are added right now are interesting. I'm not super invested in too many of them. I would say the praise system, I think, is a very good addition. The housing, surprisingly, but the housing, surprisingly, I have not done much with, and that seems like something I would really care about. The release schedule, I think, is one of the things we probably want to talk about, because I feel like it was pretty piss poor. And I would, on my side of things, I'm experiencing a lot of bugs in this game, more than I've seen since Warlords of Draenor, which is saying something if you're a World of Warcraft fan. I want to hear your initial take on this too. What are your feelings as you're jumping into Midnight?
I went into it trying out some different classes first off.
Yeah.
I've been playing a Warlock since vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing specifically a Blood Elf Warlock since Burning Crusade. I went through, I played a Demon Hunter, I played a Shaman, so things are feeling a little fresh for me. It's different, it's change of pace. I'm learning that melee DPS role, which is different, and I've been enjoying that. So that may color some of it. I know I've come on this show before and said, oh man, these people are just trying to tug at our nostalgia heartstrings, and I'm so sick of companies doing that. But, sometimes I have to eat my words. And when I, took off into Silvermoon, rebuilding Silvermoon, they took what Silvermoon was supposed to be and finally made it, That's
a really good way to put it, because back then there was limitations, and let alone there was the big scar. But now clearly it was rebuilt, and it really feels like this is what they intended back in the day if they only had the ability to do it. And it does have that sort of, like when you're flying into it, especially where the hub is, it kind of feels like this is an elven city. Everything's a little brighter, Yeah.
Yeah, and then, like going through Eversong Woods, there were a lot of throwbacks to some quests. There's like a little port with some ships in it.
Yes,
And
yeah,
those ships back in the day, I thought they looked cool. They look derpy compared to what's there now. Like they made
exactly.
everything much cooler.
And what I do like how they've added. I don't know if you've caught this or not, but when you're doing the questing, because I just finished doing all the quests in that zone, some of the quests are throwbacks to the original quests.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate that. There was one of them where you had to like, I can't even tell you what the structure is for, but there's like the structure you go up that has a bunch of like casters on it, and I was like, man, this is the same quest. They're having me do the same quest I did when I would make a new tune in this zone, and I just felt like that was a really cool nod.
Yeah, there's lots of nods, there's lots of throwbacks, but all just kind of made better, made stronger.
The Herondeer is an interesting case because it is so Herondeer was originally meant to come out with War Within. It got pushed back into this expansion. So I feel like it really feels like it's not a part of this expansion very well. Like the Void, of course we're going to go to the Void. It's what just attacked Silvermoon. The Zul'Aman being right there, yeah, of course, trolls versus elves. It's literally a story old as time and on Azeroth. But then we have the Herondeer. Was like, yeah, that's a place we would go to if we were diving deeper, like we did in the War Within. So it just feels so out of place to me, and I think that's part of the reason I'm not a big fan of that zone. I'm literally doing all the questing in there right now, and I'm just like, I mean, whatever. I'm just going through the motions in this place. I feel like it's tacked on.
It's all right. It's not great. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily feel like it fits with the vibe.
Yeah.
Like I do what I got to do there, and I get out. I think Eversong and Zul'Aman are nice. They flow into each other. They feel connected. Yeah. The stories are connected. The Void Storm, it's okay. Obviously, like I said, we had to go there.
Narratively, it made sense at least.
Yeah, narratively, it made sense. We had to be there, but it feels like, I don't know, just a lot of wasted space.
I could see them putting more rare spawns. I think that would do that zone better if they put more rare spawns for us to hunt down. I think that would fill that zone out quite a bit and actually kind of make sense for where we're at. For the housing, do you feel like it was worth the hype? How much housing have you done?
Almost none of it.
Yeah, I would say the same. It was just something they advertised so much that if we don't address it in a review for this thing, that's a really bad sign. And so I would say I too, like I built my house in the first, whatever, during pre-patch, and then I was good. I just left it there until I get bored. Then I'll go back to it, I'm sure.
Every time I do a quest and I get some fucking piece of furniture instead of a gear upgrade, it kind of annoys me,
Yeah,
or
actually,
or
the gear,
I've done multiple delves and got nothing but furniture for it.
Yeah, it's like yeah, I know. I'd give me a freaking mount already. It's what we all actually really want in real life. Yeah, but I do feel like Blizzard's got a confidence about them right now where they feel like they know where they're going. And even if it's not a place I like some of these choices that they made in this expansion, I do like a Blizzard that has more confidence behind them, because when we go back to like Warlords of Draenor and even some of Pandaria and stuff like that, you felt like, do they know what they're doing? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
with this
fair.
one, after Dragonflight, I think there was like a little bit of we know there's a bit of a retooling. But with this expansion and with this trilogy, I feel like, hey, you know what? They got a plan. I like that. I could dislike the plan, that's fine, but at least they know what they're doing. And they're listening to us too, which is nice.
I mean, if they're really looking at it as a trilogy, we're in the Two Towers right now, right? So
yeah,
that's a pretty good place to be.
Yeah, Empire Strikes Back. Yeah,
I think really we're in a good place. There's a lot of things simmering. I do expect the Alliance try to take over the Sunwell.
I could see that. Oh man, I already want to stomp every Alliance that's sitting in Silvermoon right now. There is some old school, and it's so funny because Blizzard's trying to like make sure that we're not mean to each other, but there is some old Warcraft player in me that's just being like, God damn, I want to kill every human in the city right now.
Yeah,
it's just
okay.
Me.
You know what? They finally made Silvermoon relevant for something, and then they let Alliance in. Come on.
No, we still have our little slice that's all in Horde only, but I'm just like, not enough. I want to clear these streets.
Yeah, I mean, when do we get to just go hang out in one of their cities?
Yeah, that's a good point. When I am, I have to kill their leader.
Why are we always the punching bags in this game? So right. And you know what? You know why? Because Blizzard knows Alliance players couldn't handle it, and we can.
And they know that the Horde have the actual good stories about their characters, and so they're like, we have to invent stuff for the Alliance, so let's just keep trying. But like, if you just go back to like any of the established stories for the Horde, it's all good storytelling. Let's give this thing a score out of 10. Let's see, 10 what? Amani Bears. How many Amani Bears is this thing?
How many Amani War Bears is this? All right. So there's the praise system is okay. I feel like there's a lot of currencies that I don't really care about, and I'm gonna give it a 7.
That's exactly where I'm at too. I'm at a 7 as well. I'm enjoying it. It's not great, but you know, I'm enjoying it. I think Dragonflight was like the last great expansion. That's fine. So, you know, we're in a good spot. I'm trudging along. I'll go with that. So 7's for me. Yeah, let us know what you guys thought about both World of Warcraft Midnight and One Piece Season 2. Let us know on our social medias. Let's go over the network real quick. Over at Distance Nerding, they just had Chip Snell on. He's one of the Lego masters, and he's starting a Lego convention down in LA. Outlast Podcast just did episode 3 of the new season of Survivor, and we're talking about cheating in Survivor, some of the cheating that's been going on. Fandom Portals, their last one was How to Train Your Dragon. They have a new one coming out soon, and I don't remember what it is. They just announced it. Make sure you guys are emailing requests to Fandom Portals, or you can do it through us as well. If you guys want to see any particular episode, they'll definitely do that. The next Disney Mom's Gone Wrong is going to be happening soon. They're recording episodes about that now. Who's Got Next Game podcast has a couple interviews with, I'll just tell you guys right now, the voice of Jill Valentine and Chris Redford from Resident Evil. And they'll also be on this podcast too. And then we also just did an interview for Geek Freaks with Alan Dunford, who's got a new book coming out. Make sure you guys are going in the links in the description to check all that out. What is your recommendation for the week, Scott?
Ooh. All right. You know what? If you're into that sort of thing, get your Paramount Plus. And I hear the Star Trek Fleet Academy show is supposed to be pretty good. So
yeah, it was pretty good actually. The ending, yeah, really good. Yeah.
But if you haven't watched it, watch One Piece. Okay, you don't need to watch the whole anime. That's crazy. It has honestly taken me a few years to get as far as I have.
Jesus.
But the live action is definitely worth it.
And just have fun with it. Don't be picking on every little thing. We just have to do sometimes. My recommendation, guys, Invincible's coming out this week, so make sure you guys are watching Invincible. We'll do a full review, of course, on it next week. We may do a little bit of a pre-show thing where we talk about the story so far. Not sure on that. But I will say it's on Prime. We were just talking about Prime and stuff like that. Watch out for that. But it is totally worth making sure you guys rewatch those if you need to, because the story is so damn good. The voice acting is stellar. Make sure you guys are watching Invincible. It's really good. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
See you.